On tonight's edition of the Overtime, all three high school volleyball teams hit the court this week. We'll let you know how they did. The Flagstaff Eagles football team is looking to avoid a third straight loss this week. We'll let you know what they need to do to get back on track. Coconino football has been up and down all season, but can they get back to winning with senior night coming up? And NAU football is coming off a big win at home. We've got all the details on that and this week's game at UC Davis coming up next on the Overtime. Thank you for joining us and welcome to this edition of the Overtime, Northern Arizona's only local sports show. I'm your host, Jason Friedman. We've got a great show for you tonight. Joining me in studio, sports reporter Cody Cameron. Cody?
Jason, thanks for having me. Looking forward to a great show. Let's get started.
Well, we've got a lot to get to tonight, so let's get right into it. The high school volleyball teams have all been in action. Who had the best week?
Jason, the Flagstaff Eagles girls volleyball team continues to have a very successful season. The Lady Eagles beat the Thunderbird Chiefs in 3 sets last Tuesday to extend their conference win streak to 8. A player we seem to talk about every single week is senior captain Courtney Leffel. The outside hitter led the team with 13 kills and 20 digs to continue her incredible season. This team is playing with a lot of confidence right now as they head into the bottom half of their season.
Well, I want to talk about the ladies over at Coconino. They went down to Phoenix earlier this week to take on the Arcadia Titans, a team that's turned out a few pretty good players over the last few years, including Jensen Barden, who plays here at NAU. It took 5 sets, but the Panthers were able to take down the Titans and are now ranked in the top 10 for Division II. And let's not forget about the girls over at NPA, who had their 3-game winning streak snapped on Tuesday by Sedona Red Rock, but are looking to get back in the win column as they're taking on Grand Canyon as we speak, and looking to move up from that 20 spot in Division III. Well, Cody, the Eagles are coming off a second straight loss and have had a tough matchup coming up this week against 4-2 Bradshaw Mountain. Cody, how can the Eagles get back on track?
Now, Jason, we are a little over the halfway point in the high school football season, and the Flagstaff Eagles are sitting right at 500 with a 3-3 record. Flagstaff did come up a little short last week against the Vista Grande Spartans, falling behind early and eventually losing the game 36-7. The Eagles have another big challenge tonight as they travel to play the 4-2 Bradshaw Mountain Bears. Key player to highlight here, Jason, is 6'3" receiver Bridger Hershey. Hershey is a threat downfield and is a big play waiting to happen every time he touches the football.
Well, Cody, I think the key for this team is keeping up their pace and getting to the line quickly and snapping the football before the other team can get a good look at the formation that they're in. Makes it harder for that defense to get a good read of what they're trying to do, which can lead to a lot of mismatches. Well, moving on to the other team in town, the Coconino Panthers are coming off a bad loss against Prescott. Are we going to see the team that ran Barry Goldwater out of the stadium for homecoming? Or are we going to see the team that got dominated by Prescott? Cody?
Now, the Coconino Panthers are a game behind 500 right now with a record of 3-4. Like you said, man, they suffered a tough loss this weekend, losing to a really good Prescott Badger team. But offensively, this Coconino team has a couple of superstars that have really been a bright spot for this season. Quarterback Crystal DeBarris has already thrown for over 1,000 yards this season, as well as completing 15 touchdowns. Now get this, Jason. Senior receiver Jacob Hughes has 13 catches this season. 8 of those are for touchdowns. Coconino's big play combo has kept them in every single game this year.
Well, Cody, I'm looking for this team to get back to running the ball this week and using those big passing plays as a complement to a dominating rushing attack. On defense, they need to limit those big plays and focus on getting off the field on third down. They want to hang around in these high-scoring games. Well, Cody, NAU won on Family Weekend for the 10th straight year. How's this team looking as we get deeper into Big Sky play?
Now, I absolutely loved what I saw from the NAU football team this past week. They handed a very good Montana State team its first loss of the season and also racked up 572 total yards of offense in the process. Casey Yon ran all over the Montana State's defense, gathering up 173 yards on the ground, a performance that earned him Big Sky Conference Player of the Week. Quarterback Case Cookis continued his successful season, throwing for 244 yards and 4 touchdowns. This is exactly the game head coach Jerome Sowers envisioned when he implemented the new up-tempo offense in the offseason.
Well, Cody, this week the Jacks are heading to California to take on a UC Davis team that they have never lost to. And I know we talk about them every week here on the OT, but look out for receiver Emmanuel Butler. He's among the top 10 among FCS receivers in touchdowns, receiving yards, yards per reception, yards per game, and points. I'm looking for him to have another huge game this week and add on to those impressive receiving numbers. Coming up after the break, our sports reporter Zach Warhack caught up with Coconino football coach Jeremiah Smith. Stick around, you don't want to miss this one.
Hi.
Welcome back to the Overtime. This week, our very own Zach Warhack went out to Coconino football practice to catch up with head coach Jeremiah Smith. Let's take a look.
My name is Zach Warhack here with the Overtime. I'm out here at Coconino High's football practice today, and I've had a chance to catch up with Coach Jeremiah Smith. With a 3-3 record, I asked Coach Smith how he felt about his team's performance so far this season.
You know, we're doing well. We're competing every day. We're making sure that we try to improve every day and just get better each and every day. You know, the outcomes haven't been to what we like, but the kids are upbeat. They're ready to go, and you know, we're just trying to establish a little bit of Coconino football when we walk out on the field, and impose our will on other people, and kind of go from there.
Thus far, the Panthers have relied on the arm of quarterback Cristo Tabares, but will that be the continuing trend?
I'd like to get back to Weston and Francisco Garcia running the football, but also having Cristo run the ball as well. So, you know, Cristo is a big part of our running game as well, running a lot of things out of pistol. So the way we kind of look at it is if teams want to stack the box, then we'll let him throw the football. But if teams back off and try and cover the pass, then we'll turn around and run the ball. So it's one of those two-headed monsters we like to have, is being able to run the football. You know, Cristo's got a lot of targets on the outside with CJ and Arthur and Jacob Hughes that we kind of try and figure out a game plan to best attack a defense that we see.
Last week, Coconino lost badly to Prescott, so I asked Coach how the team can get back on track.
You know, it's just one of those things we keep pounding in their head, just saying, hey, the past is the past. There's nothing you can change it. There's nothing you can do. And so we're just trying to say, hey, we got Mingus this week. We prepped for Mingus. We're trying to get ready for Mingus, and just continue to do your job. Know what your job is. Know what gaps you're supposed to control. Know what it is that you need to do, and then go out and execute, and just continue to do it. We talk about having a short memory. You live in that moment, and then when that moment's over, then you got to learn how to forget about it and move on to the next thing.
Finally, I asked Coach about the matchup tonight at home against Mingus.
You know, it's one of those things. It's senior night. We're going to kind of build on that. It's just saying, hey, it's senior night. It's your last time playing here at Cromer Stadium for you seniors. And so we're just going to try and build off of that, and build off, you know, it's one of those rivals for us. It's a big rivalry for us, trying to stop Mingus, and the kids look forward to playing Mingus every year. And so we're just going to try and see what we can do and just play our brand of football. Play gritty, hard-nosed football, never quit football, and just try and impose our will and go after Mingus with everything we got and try and force them out of what they do best, which is run the ball.
As you heard from Coach Smith, the Panthers face a tough opponent this week in Mingus, and they're looking to get back to their type of comfortable football, fast, physical, and dominating both offensively and defensively. For the Overtime, I'm Zach Warhack.
Well, big thanks to Zach and Coach Smith for that. Joining me now in studio, sports reporter Matt Stern. Matt, you've got our weekend sports preview. What do we have in store for this weekend?
That's right, Jason. We have a lot coming up this weekend, and I'll tell you all about it right after the break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Overtime. I'm Matt Stern, and we have an exciting weekend in store for us. Kicking things off with the Coconino Panthers, their football team and their high-powered offense led by senior quarterback Cristo Tabares look to bounce back from a loss last week as they play Mingus Union High School tonight at 7 p.m. Moving across town to the Flagstaff Eagles football team, they're in need of a W after dropping their last two games and are looking to push their record above the 500 mark to 4-3. They will be heading into Bear territory as they go head-to-head with the Bradshaw Mountain Bears on the road at 7 p.m. Moving up to the college ranks, Haley Wingender, Adrian Nixt, and the NAU women's soccer team continues conference play Sunday when they take on North Dakota at 11 a.m. inside Lumberjack Stadium. The Lumberjacks volleyball team will play tomorrow as they take on Montana State in Montana at 11 a.m. The NAU hockey team has a huge weekend ahead of them. Led by Captain Ryan Thompson, the Ice Jacks travel down to Tempe to take on in-state rival ASU tonight at 7:20 p.m. they return home for the next night when they face off against their other in-state rival, Arizona, at J. Lively Ice Arena at 8:30 p.m. The game can be heard live on KJAC Radio 107.1 FM. And finally, the NAU football team and their up-tempo offense, led by the duo of freshman quarterback Case Cookus and sophomore wide receiver Emmanuel Butler, look to build on a huge conference win last week against FCS-ranked Montana State. They travel to California to take on UC Davis tomorrow at 4 p.m. Well, that's what we got going on in the world of Flagstaff sports this weekend. Come out and support your favorite teams. Back to you, Jason.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Cody, what are you looking forward to this weekend?
Jason, Saturday night, the NAU Ice Jacks play University of Arizona, and that is their D1 team. We know how good of a hockey program Arizona is. Really interested to see how NAU plays against them. And you know more than anything that going to those games is so fun. Watch out for Kirby Carlson. I mean, the guy is an absolute stud. What about you, though?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to senior night over at Coconino. Cristo DeBarris has been tearing it up all year. I'm looking forward to see what he can do in his last home game over there.
Well, like I said, Cristo DeBarris already eclipsed 1,000 yards passing and 15 touchdowns. He's pretty good. Got a great rapport with his receivers. Looking forward to it.
Well, thank you for joining us here on the Overtime. For Matt Stern and Cody Cameron, I'm Jason Friedman. Be sure to check out Overtime next week at 6:15.